أهلا وسهلا يا رمضان.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم.
My name is Sheikh Akram.
My name is Adrian.
I'm Wahid. Kanamaya.
I'm Miriam. My name is Zainab.
My name is Abdul Nafi.
And I'm Mariam.
My name is Halima. I'm Sarah.
And you're watching
Academy Alive.
Academy Alive. Academy Alive. Academy Alive. Academy Alive.
And you are watching
Academy Alive.
Academy Alive.
Would you like to study from home? Academy Alive, now your one stop for Islamic education on demand.
Welcome to Chai Time with myself and Adil. This is a segment where you get to know your community leader better, what motivates them, what drives them, and inshallah we take that inspiration.
This week we have Sister Farah Scott, who some of you may know through Hurricane Stars Club and Sisters with Helping Hands. Sister Farah Scott, welcome to Chai Time.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, sister. So we start with, so where were you born? What was it like growing up? And tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Yeah, I was born here in Brisbane in Redcliffe. So I grew up not far from Redcliffe. And at that time it was a very rural countryside area, so you wouldn't believe it now with all the industrial estates and housing areas there, but at that time everyone lived on acreages, everyone had at least 10 acres. So I grew up in a caravan park. My parents owned a caravan park, so that's where I grew up. So I was an only child. So my father didn't believe in hiring any staff, so I was his chief helper in the caravan park. So I spent my whole life being busy. My father never let me sit still, and I was always helping him doing something. So as a result of that, I can drive earth-moving machinery, trucks, I can do plumbing, painting, gardening. My father was a real jack of all trades, can do everything, and I was supposed to be his assistant. But I did enjoy it also. I learned a lot. It's benefited me now.
Yeah.
That's good to know that you're a bit of a hands-on person.
Yeah.
So what was it like growing up in the acreage? It's very different to city life. Do you have any memories from then, or what did you like about it?
I mean, it was very, very peaceful, and of course you got to see lots of wildlife every day. You saw kangaroos, wallabies, sometimes koalas, snakes, possums, all the famous native Australian animals.
Yeah, and obviously working at a caravan park, I'm sure you met a lot of people and a lot of interesting people. Do you have any memories of that? What was that like?
Yeah, I think that also feeds into now like what I do. So I enjoy with all my activities just chatting with people. So I got that from the caravan park. For my mother also helped me to maybe help her do all the paperwork and do the office work. So I enjoy chatting with the residents when they came to pay and anything reaction with the people around that caravan park.
Yeah.
Do you think that sort of lifestyle has changed somewhat today in what we see in the families and communities, like with the youth especially?
Probably not a lot.
Yeah, I suppose in terms of being very hands-on, I think being someone young myself, I can't do half of those things, and I don't think I don't have exposure to that type of stuff.
Yeah, I suppose probably from that then people more moving to city life and they don't engage in all those kind of physical activities that people ordinarily used to do. Like my mum would always tell me, you think you're doing a lot. I grew up on a farm, I used to have to look after animals and all this other, we had to build our own houses and all that kind of stuff. So each generation was getting less and less able to do all that kind of things.
You know what, I thought that was a subcontinent thing, like an Indian thing. Like my dad used to say the same thing, this is how we learn. We learned under the lamp and that, and then it's not, is it? So every generation's had to struggle.
Yeah, and maybe like the next generation will probably be saying the same thing to our kids. Yeah. Well, we can tell them about the COVID pandemic and going through that. Yeah. And so what about after your childhood was spent at your parents' caravan park? What about after that, your teen years and study and school and so on? What was that like?
I actually lived right next door to my school. But as I say, because it was a 10-acre kind of area. So the school is actually a long distance from my house.
Yeah.
So I actually lived next door to the school, but I had to take a bus to get to the school because my mum thought it was too dangerous because it's countryside, it's bush area, acreages, it's too dangerous for me to walk there. So I always found it funny that I lived next door to the school, which I had to take a bus to get to the school. And it was a Christian school. So luckily my father, the Christian church he belonged to actually built next door to our house. And it was a big, it was a big centre where they had a school, childcare, church. They also had kind of like a caravan meeting area where people could hire. They have yearly gatherings of everyone of that. It was a 7-day Adventist church, and they'd all gather there.
Yeah. So you're very multi-skilled. Horses, do you know how to? No.
I don't do anything with animals.
Nothing with animals.
I would have loved to.
Yeah.
Have horses in particular, but yeah, there was no space in the program.
I was going to say if they were ever going to shoot Osman in Queensland,
It could have.
we've got a system.
Yeah, exactly. We have a 10-acre property. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You said you've been Muslim for 22 years.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. What brought you closer to Islam, or what attracted you, appealed you towards Islam?
As I said, I went to a Christian school, and because it was a Christian school, they had a compulsory subject of religion, and the only religion you weren't allowed to study is Christianity, because it was assumed that you knew that, so that would be a bit of cheating. So you had to study all the other subjects, and the teacher we had was very relaxed. She was like, just pick a religion, whichever you're interested in, and do all your work on that. We want an assignment and a presentation. So I looked at the religions and I thought, well, I don't know anything about Islam, so I'll do that one. And, I always like to learn new things. And when I read it, I was like, wow, this is exactly what I believe in life. And because my father was a very strong Christian, but he wasn't that kind of Christian who just went to church every week and that was it. All he did was read about the religion, and he wanted to really know what was the pure, authentic religion, back from the time of Isa alayhi salam. So he'd keep telling me, this has been added to religion, that's been added to the religion. So when I read about Islam, I'm like, this is Christianity, exactly as my father says it is, but without anything added to it. So it just made sense to me.
Makes no sense.
So I'd never, when I converted, I never actually met a Muslim in my life. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Really?
There are no, on that day,
Yeah.
as far as I know, there was no Muslims in that area. Till even now, it's very rare and strange for the people there to see Muslims, let alone people from other cultures. Yeah.
So when did you convert?
1998.
Okay, and were you at school at the time, or?
I decided to convert when I was in grade 11.
Wow.
But I knew my father would be opposed to it, and so I waited till I started university, and then I converted then. So I decided one day, this is it, I'm going to do it today. And I drove up to the Holland Park Mosque, and I said, I'm here to revert. And they ran across the road and got Imam Uzair and brought him over, and I said my Shahada, and then he told me, on Monday nights he has a ladies class, come along, meet sisters, it's important to meet other people. So I came along to the class, and a group of sisters came up to me, introduced themselves to me, and they've been my greatest friends ever since. Yeah.
So did you have people supporting you, teaching you, or did you learn from some people that you knew directly, or?
Yeah, so like I said, that the group of sisters who came up to me on that Monday, they took me under their wing.
Before that?
No, I never met a Muslim before that.
No.
Never met a Muslim. So
No.
the first Muslim you met was at Holland Park.
Yeah, so technically, if you want to say, it was Imam Uzair was the first Muslim I'd ever met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking like year 11 is obviously very early for someone to convert.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people at year 11 haven't thought about what they want to do the next year. Were there any challenges, or in your own head, or any doubt, or what type of discussions did you have with yourself?
Nothing in particular.
Wow.
No, it just all made sense to me. So
Yeah.
I thought this is the way to go.
Yeah.
And what resources did you used to learn by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, even the books I used to read, I would had no idea and how to get Islamic books. So it was, I used to go around. That time there used to be a lot more bookshops than nowadays, and I used to go to the religion section and just buy all the books on Islam. Yeah.
So at that time, were those resources easy to come by? Or-
There wasn't a lot, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. You're right. Go ahead.
And family. Tell us a little bit about your family then.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm an only child,
Yeah.
and when I converted to Islam, alhamdulillah, like most parents of reverts, my mum was at first very concerned, but alhamdulillah, like most reverts, when they see you're still the same person, in fact you're a nicer person than you were before, then my mum alhamdulillah has been fine with it. She has no problem. The first 2 years I didn't tell my father. So because we lived in a caravan park, when I got older, my parents let me have my own caravan.
Oh.
So that allowed me to be able to convert, because I could do my own thing. I could pray and fast and read my books and have everything, and my father wouldn't know. And my friends used to laugh, that they know so many girls who would born Muslims, and their parents would make them wear hijab, and when they got to the end of the street they would take it off. And I was the opposite, because I couldn't show my father that I was Muslim. So when I got to the end of the street, as I'm driving away, I would put my hijab on. But when I got married, so then my mum broke it to my dad that she's got married, she's moved out, and she's become a Muslim, and my father did not take it happily. So he hasn't spoken to me for almost 20 years now. So if people ask him, do you have any children? He said, I have a daughter, but she died. So
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's a challenge, unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, inshallah, that gets better.
That's one of the biggest challenges that rewards, a lot of rewards face. I've got a few friends as well, and that's what they say, the acceptance from the family, and also sometimes it's also the response from the Muslim community as well that can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
So what was that like, taking the Shahada? Were you nervous? Were there a lot of people? Or
no, just me and Imam was there
Just
sitting in
Imam
his
was there.
office.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about, sort of becoming part of the Muslim community? Was that a challenge? Were there things that you think the Muslim community could have done better?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very grateful. I was blessed, as I said, by meeting that group of sisters. I do, over my work all these years, I see a lot of sisters struggle with the loneliness. So I was blessed to meet this group of ladies who we would get together every single weekend, and they taught me all about Islam and supported me until now. So alhamdulillah, it wasn't too bad in my situation.
And earlier on you mentioned that at school you got to study different religions, going to a Christian school. For Muslim kids or in Islamic schools, do you think there'd be a value in Muslim kids learning about other religions?
Certainly, broaden their horizons, in some ways make them appreciate their religion, and also just give them that knowledge and to be able to understand other people and when they're dealing with them.
Where they come from, that's a good point,
Yeah.
We don't see a lot of that in
No, I graduated from an Islamic school myself, and I would like to have seen more of that, but we had Islamic studies, but not much of learning about other religions. Yeah. And like you said, the more I do learn about other religions, the more I feel I can appreciate my own. So I think there's value in it. Yeah.
What was Ramadan like, your first Ramadan?
I even tell my kids now, you're so lucky. My first Ramadan, I thought I was going to die. It was so hard. It was so 22 years ago, so that time Ramadan was over December, January. So the hottest, longest days of the year. And I remember looking at the calendar going, I'm not going to survive this. But alhamdulillah, I did. So and it's got easier since then.
Yeah.
Well, so first Ramadan you went straight in, or did you sort of take it easy, just do a few days?
No, I didn't even think of doing that. So I just fasted my first day in my life on the first day of Ramadan, and it was a big shock.
And can you tell us a bit about what aspects of Islam appealed to you? You did mention a bit about finding that it was Christianity. Was there anything else? You said it was sort of Christianity, but without the additions. Was there anything else about Islam that appealed to you?
I mean that. I just love the general philosophy, so I love the fact that the religious stories from the Quran were the same as the Bible, and the whole philosophy, simplicity of it all. I liked, the fact that you had to wear hijab and fast and all this didn't worry me. It's because I love the philosophy of Islam.
Right, so this would have been before 9/11.
Yes.
What sort of changes have you seen in the community post 9/11 until now? So as a Muslim before 9/11 and as a Muslim after 9/11?
I mean, there's two kinds of differences. You know, obviously people are more careful, and maybe they're more open before 9/11, but all the things that happened after 9/11 made people a bit more guarded in dealing with each other. And of course, the community as a whole has massively changed since that time. So, you know, it's obviously grown massively in size, and so many services available now that I keep telling my kids, you don't even know, you're so lucky, and everywhere you can go almost now, in this, at least here on the south side, you know, you can find something halal to eat, where that we only had kebab back in the day. You know. It was impossible to get, you know, ladies' clothes and all that. You know, internet even didn't exist to the extent that it has now, so it was all so much harder back then.
Did you find or did you perceive, you know, more scrutiny on your religion after 9/11, or in that sense?
Obviously, people more, where before they didn't kind of really pay attention to you and looked at you with more suspicion and concern than they did before.
You're involved in a lot of charity work, right? So have you felt that and that charity work it's not limited to Muslims?
No,
it's not. So have you felt that that sort of activism has increased in the Muslim community post 9/11?
Yes.
And has that been like a response, or?
And people are more, Muslim people are more active, more engaging in the community, and the non-Muslims also make more of an effort to just come, you know, up and show some solidarity and say some kind words to the Muslims also.
That's good.
So, you know, Benil mentioned that activism and volunteer work. Can you tell us a bit about that? How did you start, and what do you do now?
I've been probably for more than 10 years just volunteering, you know, I called myself like a minion. I was happy to just be a little follower, tell me what to do, and I always liked, you know, helping out at all the events. But I think I started becoming more active, probably partly because I was bored sitting at home just looking after children, and then they always used to have a lot of activities for girls, but they didn't have any activities for boys. And people would always say, you know, to the ladies who were organizing activities, anything for boys? And then they would say, because most of those ladies only had daughters, they'd like, well, no, but, you know, if you want to do something for boys, go ahead. And everyone you could see would just sit back and go, okay, I'll wait for somebody else to do that. And then one day I read a post like that, and I thought, I'm going to do something for boys. So I started organizing activities for boys. But because, you know, most people don't just have boys, or, you know, they have other siblings, so then they would have to bring their sisters and everything along. So then it became a bigger group of just a youth group and organizing activities for kids. So that's how I got started, and it was basically doing kids activities. And then as then the mothers would say to me, you know, Farah, this is so much fun, why can't you do something for us ladies like this when the kids are at school? So slowly we expanded, you know, what we did from just boys to kids in general to mums, kids, everybody. And then as we did more, then we saw more gaps in the, you know, that in the community, the activities that we could do, and it's just grown and grown from there, alhamdulillah.
So more like filling in the gaps. And that was with Hurricane Stars Club,
Yes.
And you also work with the charity Sisters with Helping Hand?
Yes.
What's that about?
So we started off fundamentally, it's something I'd seen done in other communities, where when someone has a baby, like ladies have a baby, or they have surgery or something and they can't look after their families, so the other ladies in the community would rally around them and you know, help them cook their food or whatever they needed. So, but there wasn't a lot of that for, say, reverts or other sisters in the community. So we joined with other sisters and started to do those kind of meal packs and things for families. So we have a group with, I think, about 80 volunteers on it, ladies.
80 volunteers.
Yeah.
80, wow.
And then we just put on the group, you know, okay, there's somebody who's had whatever, a baby or something in this area, and we do a food roster for them for 10 days.
That's great.
And so that was what we were concentrating on, and some other, you know, minor things if sisters needed help. And then we were doing in Ramadan iftars for sisters.
Wow.
You know, because a lot of lonely sisters out there had no family to share their iftar with. But this year, with the COVID COVID-19 crisis, so we couldn't do that. So we thought, okay, maybe we'll make food packs and then we'll give it to families. And then we were told by MCF that Brothers in Need were also planning to do the same thing. So we contacted them, and we've been working together to do this, and alhamdulillah, it's been an amazing experience. Yeah.
It's actually been amazing to see how different organisations have adapted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with Hurricane Stars Club, can you tell us a bit about what type of activities do you do?
Whenever people ask me that, I say a bit of everything.
Yeah.
So we started off doing the kids' activities, so we still do that. And then we added on the swimming. So alhamdulillah, that's been like one of our most successful things. We've been so proud of how many sisters we've helped to learn to swim, or overcome their fear of water if they haven't completely confident swimmers. We do computer literacy programs for adults and particularly for elderly people. We just started the first Muslim scout group in Brisbane called the Muslim Crescent Scouts. We do other fitness classes, Pilates. We do a play group also once a week when this all stops, inshallah. Yeah.
Inshallah.
Wow.
You've just said that there's a little bit, and then you've said that there's a big list.
That's more than
Yeah.
you could do over a lifetime. Yeah. Do you feel that, you said a lot of, growing up you were very hands-on. Do you feel that a lot of those experiences helped you be as active and hands-on as you are now?
I think so. Like people constantly say to me, how do you do it all? And I think back and I say, alhamdulillah, it comes from my father who wouldn't let me be still. Oh, you're not doing anything, great, help me do this or do that. So now I can't stand to sit still. Even I'm watching a movie or something, I'm always doing something else with my hand, at the same time. So I love to be busy, so that's how I'm able to do it all.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so you said you have 4 kids.
Yes.
Yeah. And how old are they? 15?
15, almost 12, 8 and 4.
8 and 4.
Yeah.
So that's a good gap. How do you manage? So you've said there's 3 organizations that you're involved with.
Yes.
Highly involved with, I reckon. And how do you manage time with kids and these social work?
At first it was easy in the sense that we just did kids' activities. So, they were highly involved in the activities. They could go with me everywhere. As we've expanded for more activities, alhamdulillah, they've gotten older. So then if I have to go to something without them, I can. And then, when they were little, they just came around with me to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you actually take them.
Yes, so I like the little one who's 4. So over the past few years, she's had to sit quietly, although she doesn't really, in meetings and all that kind of things. Yeah.
That's amazing. Can you tell us about? You mentioned the Muslim Scouts. I'm so interested by that. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
I think it was the beginning of last year, and we were thinking how to make our youth program more exciting. It was just me Googling, trying to think of activities to do each month, and someone said we should do something like Scouts, and I was like, why do something like Scouts? Why don't we investigate joining Scouts? And we went for Scouts, not Girl Guides, obviously, because Girls Guides is only for girls, although it's a simpler program. So we contacted Scouts Australia, and they had just made a change of their policy to be more multicultural. So they realized their numbers were dropping, and they realized because they were very urban, white, middle class, in their own words, that's what they said to me. So then they tried to be more multicultural. So when I called them and said, we want to start a Muslim Scout group, they were so excited. It was exactly the kind of project that they wanted to do. It took a long time, though, lots of meetings, and we had to find people, first of all, who wanted to be Scout leaders. So, and then once we found some lovely gentlemen and ladies who want to be Scout leaders, then we had to do weeks and weeks of training until when we finally did that, then we were ready and we were able to launch it to the community. So alhamdulillah, it's going well. We have 18 scouts in our scout group. We have 3 different levels. So we have the Joey Scouts, who are from 8 to 10 years old, the Scouts from 11 to 14, and the Venturers, who are 15 to 18, and we're hoping to start soon the Joey Scouts, which are 5 to 7 year olds. But we have some Joeys now, they're just joining in with the Cubs.
Wow. Why did you think there was a need for that? Or what made you think that, yes, we should do this?
Because I'm constantly told by people, there's some, there's nothing there apart from, the madrasas are great,
Yeah.
but it's another fun kind of activity for kids to do apart from madrasa. So that's why, we were thinking, what can we do to make some kind of exciting program? And that's why we came up with, instead of it reinventing the wheel, let's join that wonderful existing program of the Scouts with so many resources out there.
And is that the first Muslim scout group that I think it would be, yeah?
The first Muslim Scout group in Brisbane.
Yeah?
So they have 2 in Sydney and 1 or 2 in Melbourne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So who does the planning behind all of this? Is it yourself?
Mostly, yes.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So you find time for that as well?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
And what type of activities can kids partake in as part of the Scouts?
I mean, it's very much, you name it, you can do it. So because they have that massive network of the Scouts, so you can engage water sports, bushcraft, camping, or like the little ones, like for the older kids, the policies, they should spend 80% of the time out and about, so doing something outside. Where the little ones, they do some outside stuff, but they play a lot of games and learning a lot of skills inside our office, clubhouse. Yeah.
And where do you do that?
Mostly, so we go to Karawatha Forest.
Yeah.
So we started doing it in our office, but the parents said they feel like Scouts should be outdoors, and we did it once in Karawatha, and everybody loved it. So we mostly, as long as it's not raining, we go to Karawatha Forest.
Right. And for anyone watching, how can the kids get involved with that?
Just contact me, and they can come along once, and we're not unable to do it at the moment, but when we can start again soon, inshallah, then they can come along and see if they like it, and then join up.
Sounds amazing. Yeah, like I think there's really a lack of sort of outdoor activities, not only in the Muslim community, just generally. So I think that's a really awesome initiative. Yeah.
Now, so once you've accepted Islam, you've entered a world that's very multicultural, especially in Brisbane. You've got Muslims from all backgrounds. What do you feel about that? How does it contribute to Australia?
I mean, now I see the benefits. I grew up, you rarely, in my area at least, you rarely saw any multiculturalism. So I'd never tasted anything that wasn't Western food before I became Muslim. But now I can see the benefits of the diversity in Australia that I didn't notice before when I was younger. But another thing I noticed when I first converted was, although I didn't see a lot of multicultural people. When I did see them, it didn't dawn on me to wonder where they were from. But when I became Muslim, the first thing everybody asks you is, where are you from? And they put it there in my head. Then everybody I met, I wondered where they were from, which is an idea never came to me before. But in the Muslim community, that's a number one question everybody asks you, where are you from? Yeah,
that's true. Where are you originally from?
Yeah, exactly. I suppose it's interesting. I think a lot of non-Muslims ask Muslims that question, assuming that they're from somewhere else. But of course, from yourself, you've grown up here, which I'm sure is probably an assumption that a lot of non-Muslim people haven't made.
Yeah, most of them think I'm from overseas and I don't speak English. And people will say, where are you from? And I'm like, Australia. And they're like, yeah, but where were you born? Australia. Yeah, but your parents, Australia. Grandparents, Australia. They think I'm playing some kind of game with them.
Well, it's perfect that when they ask you that question, because I think when we get asked that question, we eventually say, India or Pakistan. They go, there you go. Whereas, with you, I'm sure it's frustrating for them because you've just grown up here.
So they think I'm just being difficult. Because I have to be a foreigner.
And what about the flip side of that? Have you faced, you've started wearing a hijab and you're visibly Muslim. Have you faced any Islamophobia or because of that?
Nothing serious. I mean, I think every Muslim woman has had something shouted at her and ugly looks, but I have thankfully never had a serious incident. I've heard stories of other people, but alhamdulillah, it's never happened to me. And I make dua every day, Allah save me from ever being that kind of situation.
But is that ever something you have in your head or that you're conscious of?
I mean, you're conscious of it, but after September 11, when I'd walk around, I'd be looking at everybody's face to see how their reaction was to me. Should I be scared? And then I just started just not paying attention. Kind of, I'm looking where I'm going, but I'm not focusing on people's faces to worry if how they're reacting to me anymore.
And what about, have you had any discussions with other sisters in the community about this topic?
I don't. Maybe a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, not recently. Alhamdulillah, I feel it's calmed down a lot now compared to that peak post September 11 period. Yeah.
Okay, so you did feel that there was a peak around then.
Yes. Yeah. Those few years afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. So a lot of the youth and even like the Muslim community in general, we say, we don't have time, and obviously you volunteer for a lot of work and you manage time. What sort of message can you give to the Muslim community that motivates them, that says, you've got to take on something, some project?
I always say to everyone, I mean, obviously not many people do like me, which your whole day, all day, every day, this is what you do. But, I always say to people, you don't need to fully commit, as in that sense. You can, even if you volunteer once a year, even once a month or something, it's still something. You get that benefit and that learn all the beautiful lessons from volunteering and contributing something. And then once you start, you'll slowly, you'll enjoy it, and you'll increase the amount that you do. But don't go, I don't have the time to commit to that, because you don't need to. People like with the project we're doing now, if you can just help this weekend once, that's a huge help, compared to, no, I have to commit every day and come every time. No, just once in a while, it's a great help.
Yeah. And in your volunteer work, has there been a particular moment or incident that's made you go, yep, this is why I do what I do?
I think it's just a general feedback from everyone. Alhamdulillah, not everybody says something, but those few people who make the effort and to tell you how grateful they are, how much it's meant to you. Like, say, particularly in the swimming, the number of ladies who thank us, who say, thanks to being able to join these classes, now they can go swimming with their families. Or one lady told me she finally achieved her dream of being able to snorkel on the Great Barrier Reef. Wow. This kind of things, it makes you excited to continue with the programs. Yeah.
So it's a lot of focus on sisters, am I right?
Yes. Yeah. So I leave the brothers to the brothers.
So is there that need? What sort of support do sisters need in the community? We don't hear those voices a lot of times. Yeah. What do they go through? What's happening with sisters in the community?
I think what I see and we try to provide is activities that understand the Muslim ladies' needs. So I've seen a lot of people, like non-Muslim organizations, they try to provide activities, but they don't understand the true aspect of how much privacy ladies need. Like they're like, we have a female instructor. Yeah, but people can walk in and out at any time. Women can't relax and different things like that. Like with the swimming, they just thought, they don't have anyone else around, but everybody can see through the windows, so the women can't completely relax. So we try to focus on meeting those needs where the ladies can feel relaxed and know that their privacy is secure.
Try to create that space where they come from.
That comfort, safe space for the ladies. Yeah.
And when you have those conversations with people outside the Muslim community, trying to explain that, the needs of privacy and so on, have you been sort of surprised in a good or bad way by responses? What have responses been like?
I mean, it's been mixed, so some are very helpful, and try to understand and make it, and some just roll their eyes all the time, and think you're just, making it too complicated, that kind of things. But in general, people are surprised that they didn't understand the extent of when they said ladies only. What exactly does it mean? Like when we did a bounce activity for ladies recently, and I explained to them all ladies only, so they had lady staff, everything like that. But then when our session was about to finish and the next one was about to start, they were just letting men come in and sit there. They didn't get the whole concept that the ladies had taken off their hijabs and, you can't allow this kind of things. Yeah. So it's a lesson for both sides. Yeah.
Well, at least it's amazing that you're pioneering that, and obviously the more discussions you have, the more people understand. You've been doing volunteering work, for a number of years now, and you've been a Muslim for a number of years. What changes have you seen in this space in the Muslim community? Like, what positive changes have you seen, and what do we need to do more of?
Yeah. I mean, when I first converted, and then I got married, and I went with my husband to Sydney, and I was like, oh my God, I'm never going back to Brisbane. Yeah. That place is dead. This is so exciting. But over the years, then we've we're catching up. We're getting more services, bigger community. So that's what I just like to see us become more. Have all that services and everything that they have in Sydney and Melbourne. But I'd like to hope that we can stay more united. So that's why I love the way Uncle Habib Jamal is running his programs, really trying to get all the organisations and everybody to work together, not everybody doing their own thing. So I hope we can continue that way, inshallah.
So when you came back from Sydney to Brisbane, did you see that as an opportunity to do more?
At that time, no. I was like, I'm moving to Sydney.
I think I can relate. I think everyone's had that Sydney Muslim realization. When you travel to Sydney, you're like, wow, this is amazing.
Now, I've been to Sydney, and I've got a lot of friends in Sydney. But I always felt, with Brisbane, there's a lot to do, but Sydney's just too busy at the moment. It's a lot happening.
I thought when early on when Halal Nando's and Sunshine Clubs opened up in Underwood, I thought we were doing well. And then I went to Sydney and I'm like, no, this is what I'd like to see.
That's what I tell my kids. We only ate kebab before. When Nando's opened up, it was the most exciting thing ever.
Now, you've sort of explained what drives you, what motivates you, and the skills that you had that's a gift that you're giving back to the community. And always with volunteer work, and especially the stuff that you do where you're planning and then you're implementing. There's always, you might hear those voices, naysayers that say, it probably wouldn't work. What advice, and a lot of people drop the idea then once they hear that. What advice would you give to those people?
I mean, I say give it a try. Even small. I mean, I've seen it now. More people are becoming more adventurous. So give it a try. Put it out there. Put out your advertisement, your idea, and if you don't get a lot of response, then just quietly step back and don't do the activity.
No fear of failure. So just try, and you never know. And sadly, I've learnt with all my activities, I'll be panicking. It'll be like 2-3 weeks out, and I'm like, oh, I sold 5 tickets. This is terrible. But then you learn most people buy their tickets on the last week. So that's now when people call me, and I'll say, just relax, because it's usually the last couple of days as everybody buys their tickets. Okay.
And you said, I know there's a lot of youth out there who are trying to become more active in the community, but I know that fear of failure can be a big thing. You don't want to put your neck out because you're scared of what might happen. What advice do you give to those types of people?
I suppose maybe join with an existing organisation, learn from the people who are working with that, and work with them to create the activity. So maybe it's not you putting your face out there and being embarrassed if it's a failure. You have a team to support you and give you advice and help you and potentially make the activity more successful.
Okay. So any final messages for the Muslim community in general? Where do you wish to see the Muslim community in 20 years?
I hope everybody's much more engaged in the community and more united and working together to help the community prosper, inshallah.
Inshallah.
All right, sure.
We're on to the rapid fire.
What's that?
Or the rapid fire?
Yeah, let's go to the rapid fire. The rapid fire section. Has this been explained?
Kind of.
Yeah? Okay. So I'm happy to start. We'll ask a question and you just say what comes to mind. Okay, so what's the most daring thing you've done?
Probably recently would be in trying kneeboarding.
Kneeboarding?
Yeah, constantly falling flat on my face.
I don't even know what kneeboarding is.
It's like it's skiing behind a boat, but instead you're on your knees on the board, not standing up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So where did you do that?
We did an activity in January where we hired a lake in Conubia, near Conubia, and made it a ladies-only space, so ladies could enjoy all this kind of kneeboarding and kayaking and canoeing and all different activities.
Wow, you hired a lake out, is that correct?
Yeah.
What was the process involved for that? That sounds amazing.
We just contacted them and said, we'd like to do a ladies-only session there. So I'd gone there with their Crank School Holiday program before with the Logan Council, and so I thought this would be really fun for ladies to do, because I could see all the mothers standing, you know, around waiting while their kids did it. So that'd be a great opportunity if we did this for ladies. So yeah, so we hired the whole lake out when they'd finished for the day. So that's basically how we can able to do all our activities. So we hire spaces when they're finished for the end of the day, and then we can make it a ladies only space.
You know what? I think the sisters are having more fun than the brothers.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I want an event like this. Yeah, that's amazing. Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
So what would you change about yourself if you could?
I'd probably be a more confident public speaker. Yeah.
You're doing well so far.
Yeah.
Okay. Your proudest accomplishment?
Probably being able to build up the Hurricane Stars to be a successful organization. Alhamdulillah.
If you could go back in time, what year would you travel to and why?
Probably the year 2000, and I would probably, when I finished my university, I'd probably like to got more active more earlier in the community than waiting all the way to this late time. Yeah.
Okay. And who would you want to play in a movie of your life?
Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, great.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you collect anything?
No.
This question. Okay. If you had a warning label, what would it say?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What would you rather do? Wash the dishes, mow the lawn, drive the tractor, clean the bathroom, or vacuum the house?
Probably drive the tractor. Yeah.
I was just thinking there's probably nothing.
There's nothing. Yeah.
I can't do, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any pets?
We have 2 guinea pigs.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the names?
Jawbreaker and Mei Lee.
Okay.
Guinea pigs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a quick funny story about that. As a child, I always wanted a guinea pig, and I asked my Muslim parents, obviously, if I could get a guinea pig, and they're like, "No, pigs are haram. You cannot have guinea pigs," and that's why I never got a guinea pig. Yeah.
Superman or Batman?
Superman.
Superman.
Okay. Butter chicken or shrimp on the barbie?
Butter chicken.
Chicken.
Butter chicken. No, that's,
Yeah. Most controversial, right? Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
I actually don't like either.
Oh. How do you do so much without either?
That's what people say to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no.
Oh, that's I'm very envious of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite vacation spot?
Great Barrier Reef.
Oh, I've never been.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Favorite cuisine?
Italian.
Italian.
Yeah.
Okay. Your greatest fear?
Public speaking.
You're doing great. Yeah.
How do you get your steak cooked?
Well done.
Well done.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you a morning or a night person?
I like to hope I'm an all-day person.
It seems like it. It seems like it. Yeah.
If you won $1 million, what would you do?
Build a center for the community.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Now, the next section is you've got to say the word that comes first to mind when we say apple.
Orange.
Okay. Australia.
Wonderful.
Vegetable.
Cooked.
Moon.
Sun.
Australia.
Did we said that?
We did it.
Oh, we did? Okay, sorry. Ring.
Oh,
Ring.
yep.
Marriage.
You're right. You're up, Daniel.
You.
Okay. Sauce.
Pasta.
Turkey.
Meat.
England.
Heritage.
Animal.
Guinea pig.
Moon.
We did that.
We did moon as well.
We did, yeah.
Okay. Hollywood.
Movie star.
Phone.
Phone. Messages.
And shrimp.
Shrimp. Yucky.
Finally, any last words to the to Australians at this time of COVID-19?
I think just relax and stay home and keep active and enjoy this time with your family and being able to do all that stuff we don't usually ever have time to do.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. With that, Sister Farah, we've come to the end of Chai Time. Thank you so much. You've shared such a fascinating story about your life and growing up and the work you do now.
We'll see you again next week, inshallah. Same Chai Time, same Chai channel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
My name is Sheikh Akram.
My name is Adrian.
I'm Wahid Kanamaya.
I'm Miriam. My name is Zainab.
My name is Abdul Nafi.
And I'm Mariam. My name is Halima. I'm Sarah.
And you're watching
Academy Alive.
Academy Alive. Academy Alive. Academy Alive. Academy Alive.
And you are watching
Academy Alive.
Academy Alive.
Would you like to study from home? Academy Alive, now your one stop for Islamic education on demand.